Hello, you are listening to Cali Chats, a healthy living podcast with a goal of helping you find true happiness within your mind, body, and soul. I'm Jessie Cali, and it is time to get real. Hello, welcome back to Cali Chats. Today we are going to be talking about the new theme of the month for July. And we're going to talk about some updates, and then we're going to dive into today's topic. So, want to know what it is? So today's topic is, why isn't celebrating your own wins easy? Yeah, I know. This theme for the month is celebrating your wins, no matter how small. But then I'm over here like, that's not very easy. So it's been a whole journey over here. I'm being honest. I picked that topic, just pretty much found it and was like, yes, we need to celebrate some wins because we've been having a lot of heavy topics the first few weeks of June and the first weeks of May. We've just really been diving into some very deep stuff, which is great. There is nothing wrong with that. But I felt like we needed a little pick-me-up, a little lift, a little brightness in our July. Plus, it's my birthday month, and I'm a Leo, and I'm like, let's just live it up. Yeah, July 23rd, that's my birthday. I'm turning 32. I cannot believe it. So we're just going to say I'm turning 29 plus 3. Oh, my goodness. So back on track. Why isn't celebrating your own wins easy? That is the topic for today. But before that, I want to dive into the updates for today. So I know I told you on the last episode that I was going to be releasing this episode a little early for you guys so that you could listen to it for July 4th weekend plans on your travels. But things don't always go to plan. So last Sunday, June 25th, in Memphis, we had this massive storm, like seriously, massive surprise storm out of nowhere. None of us knew it was coming. We saw on the radar that something was supposed to come later in the night, so maybe 8 or 9. But I think it was like right around 7 o'clock that we just had these massive wind gusts, huge storm, lots of rain. And it didn't really last that long either. Don't quote me on this, but it felt like it only lasted like 10 minutes. But the wind gusts were over 75 miles per hour, which is insane. Crazy. I was actually at a dog client's house because me and Eric are taking care of these 2 wonderful dogs. They are German Shepherds named Tyrael and Bruce, and we also take care of the cats, which are Onyx and Leon. Just a bunch of fun boys. But anyway, that's where we were. We were actually there taking care of them, which was about 15 minutes from my house, and it still hit my house and this house. But anyway, the trees were sideways. I was outside with this dog, and I was like, uh-oh, we need to get in fast, and I could literally see the rain coming at me. So many people are telling me, they're like, you must have had like a mini tornado because it was insane. But anyway, at its height, Memphis was out of power. We had 120,000 plus customers from MLG&W out of power. My entire family, which encompasses 4 households, were all out of power, which has never happened in the Cali history of histories. And all of my friends were out of power. It was insane. We couldn't get service. We couldn't get Wi-Fi. So it was impossible for us to work. It was impossible for us to stay cool. It was hot. It was like 95 plus degrees and felt like 113. All that to say, been a rough week. I mean, you really could say it was quite the nosedive. And not much motivation that I could really share during that time. And I also couldn't really get my mic to work during that time. Nothing could work during that time. So even though I had every intention of posting this podcast early, life gets in the way sometimes. So, thus is life. Anyway, moving on. I will say we did have some fun times over the week. We had the dogs, Cosmo and Ginger, my 2 Pomeranians, at a hotel, 2 hotels to be exact. And let me tell you, that was quite the experience. Ginger, she is a well-traveled dog. She is my baby, and I have taken her all over the United States. She does great. on travel. So she was great at the hotel, but Cosmo, he is uncultured, okay? This man has not stepped foot outside of his yard in his house, and he shows it. So it was quite the struggle, and he's an old man, so senior dogs and hotels sometimes don't always mesh, but we made it work. And one of the hotels we actually got to stay in was the Embassy Suites on Shady Grove, which was amazing. We loved it, and it was pretty cool from a brighter perspective because Eric actually works in East Memphis, and he has a hybrid role, so he's able to work in the office a couple days and then a few days at home, which is awesome. But we had never really, I guess, gotten to see what it would be like to live in East Memphis and also have him work there. And it was pretty cool because he had a shorter commute. I mean, he could leave and he could get to work in 5 to 7 minutes, and we were able to have lunch together. It was a whole different perspective. So we're actually considering buying our first home out there. So we'll see, but that's exciting. And it was cool to see. Brighter side, trying to look on the positives here. We have power back. So just so you know, most of Memphis does have power back. There's still about 10,000, 15,000 people that don't. But my entire family has their power back up. So send good vibes to Memphis so we can get the power back. And rest assured, I have my AC back. All right, so moving into the topic for today. So this month's theme, like I said earlier, is celebrating wins no matter how small. And I thought that was going to be a pretty slam dunk topic to write about. I'm being honest. I really thought yeah, it's going to be good. But guess what? It is not. It is not easy to just be like, I want to write a blog about celebrating myself. And it's especially not easy when you're really not the best at giving yourself that pat on the back or, good job, kiddo, from time to time. I don't do that. I don't do it. So writing my blog this month was super hard because I'm not used to that. I'm not used to just looking at myself and saying, you're doing great, you're killing it, everything you're doing is just awesome. I'm not good at that. I am my biggest critic. I am very hard on myself, and a lot of the time I just am kind of mean to myself, And we've talked about that. I talked about that last month where I've been trying to work on positive self-talk and self-care and all of these different things because it's time that I stop being mean to myself, okay? I'm trying hard. I'm doing the work. So why can't I just wake up and celebrate myself one day, But seriously, writing this blog has been a learning experience. I'm literally looking at this from a total new perspective, and I'm absolutely not the expert on this stuff. So if you are the expert on celebrating yourself, I need to know some tips. So send them to me, please. You can send them to Cali Chats podcast at gmail.com. Oh, goodness. I'm serious. If you got some tips, you got to send them my way. So this week, early on, all I could focus on was the bad. I mean, come on. You heard it. You heard me rambling on. It was bad. But what about the good? That's something that I struggle with. Why didn't I look at the good? Why didn't I look at the brighter things? It took me so long to even think about, we're staying in East Memphis. This is so fun. I get to have lunch with my fiance. I wasn't seeing that. All I was seeing is we don't have power. It's super hot. My dogs are insane. That's all I could think of. And I can't work. And I can't do all the things I wanted to do. So I'm instantly just so hard on myself. And I'm not giving myself any grace. I'm just immediately like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing more? So in this blog, I actually get to the root of why, which in turn helped me figure out how I can start to celebrate the wins. So yay. It is right on brand for this topic, just in a different kind of way, right? It's not exactly like celebrate yourself. This is how you do it. It's more like, why can't I do that? And how do I get to do that? So if you at all relate to that, I would give it a read. It's not up yet, but it will be available to you guys next Tuesday, July 11th, I think. Yes, next Tuesday, July 11th is when you can actually see that. So if you're not sure if that's something that you relate to, I want you to answer this for me. Are you able to accept compliments from others and actually Believe it. That's the key there, right? You can always say, thank you, oh, you're so sweet, or when someone compliments you, but do you actually believe it? No? Then you're probably not good at complimenting yourself either. Meaning you are too hard on yourself, just like me. So seriously, be on the lookout for that. I am so excited to share it with you guys because it wasn't easy for me to write. It actually was something that was a little bit more complicated for me because it's not something that's second nature. So why isn't celebrating your wins easy? Why is it hard? That's something that I've been exploring this week, and that's something that I want you guys to explore this month is if you struggle to celebrate yourself, why is it hard? Why isn't it easy to do that? Well, I can tell you why it's not easy for me. And the reason it's not easy for me is because I like to focus on the flaws. I like to focus on everything that I'm doing wrong versus everything I'm doing right. I always thought that I was the half full glass. You know that little thing they talk about, like the glass half full or the glass half empty? I seriously thought I was the full girl, which I think I am. I think I'm the full girl when I'm talking to other people. So when I'm actually talking to you, I'm like, oh, this great thing happened, or this amazing thing that you're doing is awesome. So if I'm talking to other people, I'm always half glass full. I'm like, you got to be positive. But when I'm looking directly right back at me in that mirror, I am not doing that. And that is my actual flaw, right? Look at me. I'm doing it again, looking at my flaws. But seriously, that is my flaw, is that I look at myself in the mirror and I don't see the hard work. That's not the first thing I see. I don't look at myself and say, you've been hitting the gym so much, you're doing a great job. Or heck, when I'm not going to the gym, I'm not looking at myself and saying, the reason you weren't able to do that was because you were so busy this week with work and you were really trying hard on eating right. So you did that, but you weren't able to get to the gym. That's okay. It's okay not to do the things that you set out to as your goals every single week, right? I want you guys to know that when I give you guys these tips and these tricks, and I'm like, hey, you need to get a routine in place, that would be awesome to keep yourself going and motivated. I'm not sitting over here just being like perfect all the time and doing my routine. You saw me last week. I mean, sure, a big storm came and hit me and took my power out, and that literally flew me off course. But it's easy to have just a small thing come into your way and just knock you off track. Or family comes in town and suddenly everything that you were doing that was great goes out the window. But that is okay. It's okay to fall off track. But what you want to be able to do is get back on track. And what you don't want to do is be extremely hard on yourself, so much so that you just fall deeper and deeper and deeper into that hole. Does that make sense? Because I hope it does, because that is what I do. And I am a lot like that. So I hope that if you are someone that also struggles with that, where when you're fallen, instead of picking yourself up, your immediate thing is to kind of like just keep letting yourself dive, right? And I don't want you guys to nosedive into a dark place because it's not easy to get out of, right? It's a lot harder to climb up from the bottom of this 10 million foot hole than it is from like a couple feet down, right? So I think what's important this month too is figuring out what are those triggers, what are those things that get into your way and complicate whatever those goals are that you set for yourself, right? And then when you figure out whatever those triggers are and whatever those complicated things are that come into your life, you need to get them out of there, right? Take that stuff away. Focus on the positive. Get back to a place where you can actually celebrate yourself, right? Maybe you don't even know how to do that. Speaking from experience right here, maybe you don't even know how to celebrate yourself. Well, are you good at celebrating others? Are you able to look at a friend and see what they've been doing and like, congratulations on that promotion. You are awesome. I see the good work you put in. Or you got a raise. That's amazing. I can't believe it. That's so great. 2 raises in 2 years. That's awesome. If you're able to look at someone else and say, congratulations, or look how great you are, or look at the hard work you've done. You've lost 30 pounds. You look amazing. All that stuff you're doing for them, do it to yourself. I find it incredibly hard to believe that there's nothing that you could celebrate yourself for right in this moment. Because every single person listening to this podcast, including myself talking on this podcast, has something they're doing in their life that is good. You may have a lot of bad things going on, right? You may have a lot of things coming into your life that you can't control. And again, that's okay, because that's life. Life is not going to be easy. Life is not going to just throw you a bunch of fun, predictable things that you can handle. That's not how life works. Life is going to throw you a whole bunch of wrenches in your plan so that you can get off track and really have a hard time trying to get yourself right back on it. That's life. So if that's life, how do we get to a place where we just celebrate ourselves and are able to do that to keep us going? Because if you aren't doing that, you're going to burn out. If you're not ever celebrating yourself, you're going to fall into that hole deeper. You need to be able to believe those compliments people give you, but also give them to yourself. So for me, like right now, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, okay, what can I celebrate? Well, I mean, it's July 3rd, and yes, I was supposed to post this a few days ago, but you know what? We're getting it done. We're getting it done before Tuesday, which is the day it launches. So while it may not be the perfect scenario, I'm getting it done. You know, like, that's awesome. The fact that I have the perseverance and the strength and the will to get this done, even though I'm exhausted. I've been wrangling dogs. I don't even know if that's the right word, but wrangling dogs all week. I love dogs, but when the power's out, taking care of a bunch of dogs ain't easy. And I'm not just taking care of my own. I'm taking care of friends' dogs. I'm taking care of family dogs. I'm taking care of, paid clients' dogs. And again, it's amazing. The money's great when it comes back, but it's hard when you're so hot. You have to wait in line for gas and it takes forever. It's exhausting. And I couldn't even work. So I'm dealing with phone calls from work people being like, hey, can you work today? I'm like, I don't have internet. And my hotspot's not working, because that's life. But I'm getting this done, right? So this is a great accomplishment for me that I'm actually posting it. And that's small. That's not a huge accomplishment, but that's fine. You have to be able to celebrate whatever win you can in your life, no matter how small. And that is the goal this month. I'm so excited to do that with you guys because I'm not good at it, okay? I'm not. I am not good at celebrating myself. And if you're not good at celebrating yourself either, I hope you take this task from me this month to figure out how to do it. And hopefully today is that first step. Today is that first step for you to figure out, how do I do that? How do I turn negative self-talk into positive self-talk? How do I turn my constant looking at my flaws into my consistent looks into my beauty and how great I am? That's all what self-love is, That is what self-love is. That is what self-care does for you. So celebrating yourself, doing things for yourself, making sure to set time aside for yourself, that is so important. So, so important. So I hope you do that. Okay? So next week, I want you to read my blog, okay? Now, I don't know. I know a lot of people that prefer podcasts. I know a lot of people that prefer blogs. But I encourage you this month to do both. Because Jackie and I are teaming up. We're both on this topic, figuring out, what do wins look like? What do personal wins look like? What does celebrating yourself look like? And I'm excited. I really am. I know I've said that a lot, but I am. I'm excited to try something new. Like, it's crazy to say that because it should be easy to do this, but it's not. It's not. And that's what makes me think that this is going to be like a really rewarding month. Because we're all going to get to a place where we can be successfully looking at ourselves in a more positive light. We're going to celebrate our wins and we're going to move forward to a better version of us. That's great. So great. So, first step to doing that is I want you to figure out, looking at your week, whatever you're up to this week, I want you to look at yourself and think, what have I done that was pretty good this week? It can be small. It doesn't have to be big. But think of something, okay? I don't want you to look at any of the flaws of this week. I don't want you to think about how you weren't able to meal prep this week. I don't want you to think about how you got a flat tire, because I got 2 of those last month. I don't want you to think about getting a ticket. I don't know. I'm thinking about all the flaws that someone could think about. I don't want you to think about how maybe you gained a couple pounds. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking about the wins this month, okay? So I want you to figure out something that you did. And if it's easy to think of flaws for you, turn it around. Flip it to the positive. What can you turn that flaw into? What's the celebrating the win look like for you this month? And send that to me. I would love to hear you guys celebrating yourselves. Please, please, please send that to me. You can email it to me at calichatspodcast@gmail.com. I'll even bring it up in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks when I come back with Jackie, we will talk about it. So if you send that in to me, I'll definitely read them out to people, because I want you to celebrate yourself. And if you're able to do that and send that to me, I will celebrate you as well. So everybody send me whatever you are thankful, grateful, and celebrating yourself. Send that to me. Either email, you can go to the Cali Chats podcast, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere. Just send it to me. And I would be so, so grateful, because I can't wait. I want to celebrate you, and you need to celebrate you. And also, I think I'll just make it, I think I can do a little, if you're on Spotify, I think I can put a little question and you can answer it. So if you're on Spotify, you can check that out too. It'll be the same question. How can you celebrate yourself this week? And send that to me. All right. Well, I think we did it. I think we're done. I think we did this episode. Short, sweet, to the point. And I love you guys. I cannot wait to talk to you again in 2 weeks. I'm going to bring my sister back, Jackie. She's going to talk about her blog that's going to be coming up later in the month. And I love you. All right. Happy July, people. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate, review, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts. For more from Cali Chats, visit calicreates.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Everything is linked in the podcast bio. Talk to y'all later. Bye.